This is the Can Crushers Wrestling Podcast.
The following contest is scheduled for one fall.
Let's go nuts! It's Jimmy Nuts! Right out of the door!
With your hosts, Mark Martinez.
Because I'm the Mark, and I'm awesome!
The Guru.
Today I'm going to break it down for all you simpleton sweat hogs listening out there in Can Crusher Nation. I don't mean to come out here week after week and toot my own horn, but toot.
And the English Professor.
It is I, the English professor from the County of Kings, speaking the English of the Queen.
Hey, this is former WWE superstar Duke, the Dumpster Drosy, and you are listening to the Can Crushers Podcast.
And thank you once again for coming back and listening to Can Crushers Wrestling Podcast. I am your host, Mark the Mark Martinez. In studio with me, drinking a cola, is the glorious guru himself, Chad Perena, and sitting at home with the most luxurious head of hair I've ever seen on a wonderful Sunday morning is the English Professor. Good morrow, gentlemen.
Good morning. Yeah, it's everywhere. You're right, though. It's luscious and full, and it's a nice head of hair.
We cannot say that, Chad.
Nope.
How is Yins's... See how I went from an Englishman right back to the Pittsburghian?
Yeah.
How was Yins's week?
Wrestling was all right.
No, not
Didn't
wrestling.
excite me. All right, we're not talking about, okay, just in general, life in general.
We do this every week.
Yeah.
John screws
know,
the pooch every week, too.
He does screw the pooch.
It's just cold, and we stay indoors. That's what life is like right now.
Yeah.
Sorry, I know you're on such a high, and I just crashed the whole thing.
And I was the one prior to the show saying, I wasn't really into it this week. I was almost tempted to tell you guys, we're going to take a break for a week because Mark feels like ass. I needed an end. And then I'm like, yeah, I took a nap last night, or most people call going to sleep. And this morning I was excited. But you just brought it back to being a janitor on a Sunday in a rest area.
I don't know how you do it. I sent you a text last night asking for one change to this show, and you texted me back at like 4:30 or 5 in the morning. What the hell are you doing up on a Sunday at 5 a.m.?
It's just the way it is. It really, I mean, you just wake up. Your body gets accustomed to being up at 5 o'clock again.
Fuck that.
Chad, how was your week?
I'm with John. It's too fucking cold to do anything. Stay in, stay warm. I don't have the luxurious head of hair to worry about, so I don't even, I can't even style it to look good for sitting on the couch. So this is just a week. I watched a lot of old Survivor series. I started back in like 1990 and was watching the old ones.
Just the Survivor Series matches or the whole pay-per-view?
Just the whole pay-per-view. I started them on, just let it go all day or whatever, and it was skipping year to year. It was just, I don't know. Seen a lot of the guys back then that are gone, and that kind of sucked. But man, the fan reactions to those things back then,
So much better.
Yeah.
Well, you guys, John doesn't sound productive. You weren't productive either, but you at least watched wrestling. I also watched wrestling this week. I watched 2 wrestling movies.
These are 5 stars.
That I wouldn't suggest that anybody ever watches again in their life. I was playing with the Roku more. We've had this Roku now for a year, but this week I just felt the need to dive into, dismantling it and finding out what I can really get. So I got all these free apps that can you watch obscure movies. So I found Grunt, the wrestling movie. No idea why I picked it. I have no clue why I picked Grunt. I fell asleep watching it because it was that bad. I don't know if it was a comedy, a horror. It sucked. But I watched that. John, you said you have a little bit of knowledge about this.
Yeah, I saw it in 84 or 85 on VHS. It was a movie that a couple of my friends back in New York liked or wanted to watch. And actually, it's funny you mentioned that movie because in recent years, one of my friends reached out to me and said, what was that movie we watched where this guy goes around kicking other guys' heads off and there's a detective? And I was like, oh, yeah, Grunt. He's like, oh, my God, I can't believe you remembered that. In 84 or whatever, I knew it was the dumbest movie I'd ever seen. It held no entertainment value. It's about just what I said. Some wrestlers kicking guys in the head, a la Randy Orton, but their heads go flying into the crowd. I don't know. It's like some futuristic, post-apocalyptic, bloodthirsty garbage. It was so dumb.
But wait, there's one even worse. It's called Wrestle Massacre. Nikolai Volkov's in it, Rene Dupre's in it, Jimmy Valiant's in it, Tony Atlas is in it, the Sandman, our friend Manny Fernandez is in it. And this guy is bullied in wrestling school, and he snaps one day. And anybody that's ever bullied him, he kills them using a wrestling move. Have it be the mandible claw ripping out his larynx. Or one guy says he's spineless, so he rips his spine out. One guy gets the camel clutch and his head pops off. This is absolutely horrible. And the guy looks like Bruiser Brody, so you got that going a little bit. The one guy that's in it, trying to not get killed, when Tony Atlas has him against the wall, who is Hercules in this movie, threatening to beat on him, cannot keep a straight face. No disrespect to Tony, but you know he's got kind of like a lisp or something, so he kind of got that, and he's trying to be tough, and this kid is laughing. They just said, fuck it, let's just roll with this kid laughing during a horror show. Wrestle Massacre. Make sure you watch it. Anybody that's got a Roku, it's on Tubi. Download Tubi. It's an app that's free. And then type in Wrestle Massacre.
That says it all right there. I have Tubi. I've watched that off of my TV, and they have some
odd, but they also
not
have
odd, shitty. I mean, just shitty movies.
But they're also the one that has, I know this now, 350 Days, which we talked to Evan Ginsberg about, and The Wrestler are both on there for free. You have The Price of Fame, which you just watched with the $1 Million Man. There's a couple other really cool wrestling ones. Plus, you can watch some old CZW and stuff like that on there as well. Ethan and I have been on a huge documentary thing about this is bad. This is why I watch Wrestle Massacre. About killers, and he wanted to watch the John Bonet thing this week, and we watched The Night Stalker. I don't know. Like I said last week, clearly around Valentine's Day, we like death and goriness, and we don't watch
St. Valentine's Day Massacre. There you go. You're working that in.
Right? So that's what I did this week. So that's it. Watching IWC last night, which we'll cover later. Later in the week, I mean. I did download Chad, and I know you don't have it yet, because you're a real hunter, unlike me. Hunter Call of the Wild has a new territory. It is in New Zealand now. You hunt feral goats and feral pigs and chimios. I don't even know what the hell. I'm probably saying that wrong. Chaomise or something. I don't know. It's a goat. There's deers, again, that you can shoot at. So
I gotta get this downloaded again. I
need
to kill something.
Yeah, because you're sure as shit not killing anything outside right now. No. They're not even running around outside.
No. I tell the dogs they're on their fucking own. I open the door and say go.
If one wouldn't run down to your house, I would be doing the same thing. But, alright, we do have a ton of wrestling to do. So we have to cut my intro of just gabbing short. Let's start last Sunday night. NXT Takeover. And I'll spoil it. Holy shit, what a show. What a show for NXT Takeover. If we're going to have an event of the year, category next year for the Crushes, this one's already leading the way for me. There was not a bad match on this.
Now, this was a...
Yeah, just...
Oh, go ahead, John.
Go ahead, Chad, sorry. Just 5 matches, and they were all awesome. There wasn't like 10 matches or anything. Just 5 solid matches.
Yeah, you didn't have to have... When I say marquee names, you didn't have to have, all of the Undisputed Era on there. You didn't have to bring the supposed main roster down. This card from top to bottom was an old school, I think probably the worst match for me was the women's match, but even that wasn't bad.
Which one? The finals or the title one?
Title one.
Oh. Right off the bat in the pre-show, I'm turning it on because I don't know why I didn't turn the pre-show on right off the bat, but John's like, holy shit, did you see who that was? L.A. King. I don't like the name.
L.A. King. L.A. Knight.
Knight, yeah. L.A. Shyamalan. Well, I wish you would have said something with Eli Drake. I don't like L.A. Knight. But he's in WWE. He's going to be a player in NXT, I think. I'm happy about that. But, once again, if NWA comes back around, they just lost another huge piece.
Yeah, they really did. That guy is awesome on the mic. He's not bad in the ring either, but his mic work, they had him and they had Eddie Kingston, who could deliver killer promos, and both of those guys now are in other companies.
And you can't blame them.
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he was released from his NWA contract. He was technically still under, but he wants to wrestle. And that's why I fucking brought him to our wrestling.
Right. So you knew something was coming out. All right.
This was a week. I'm just going to preface this. This was a fucking week where I should have played the fucking Mega Millions.
Yeah.
With the shit I hit.
No kidding. First match of the card is the women's final. Ember Moon and Shotzi Blackheart against Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez. And I love this. I love this. The right team won. The trophy is taller than Dakota Kai, which I love. And they actually, you find out on NXT, they get into it down the line as well. So, John, since it's women, and I know you love the team that won, go ahead. What did you think of this match?
Yeah, I love this team. I compared them at one point. They had an Andre the Giant Superfly Snuka kind of dynamic. We didn't get too much of that here, but I love Raquel Gonzalez just using what brings her to the dance, and that's power moves, not budging, a little bit of no selling when Ember Moon and Shotzi Blackheart come after her. You have to chop her down, which leads to the believability. I think they're great as a team. I need to see a little more from Dakota Kai offensively, I think. She's typically the one who takes the punishment, which is believable, because what are you going to do? You can't beat on Raquel Gonzalez too much because she's too big. But I want to see some more offense out of Dakota Kai. But you're right. The right team won. I'm excited for their tag team title match, more so than I would have been had it been, Nia and Shayna against Ember and Shotzi.
Yeah.
Yeah, this match was a lot better than I thought it was going to be. Not a huge Ember Moon fan, but she kind of stepped up for this match. Like you guys said, the right team won. I just don't think you could have taken the other team any further.
No,
in a storyline where it would have been useful.
Oh, the good team won! Yay!
Yeah,
right. Next matchup is the North American Championship match: Johnny Gargano against Kushida. What the hell happened to Austin? He was coming out with them, and then he lost his way to the ring. I don't know. This is a match of the year candidate for me. I loved everything about this match. Everything about this match. And after I was correct, because if you go back and listen to our predictions, I said I was 2-0, and John's like, I did too. I'm like, you fucking picked Kushida, you idiot.
Yeah.
This match is what Gargano does. The stupid skits and everything like that. It's like he flipped the switch and he was like, fuck, I'm just going to run. And that was a great match. You know, although John and I both fucked up the prediction in this match, right guy won. I mean, you can't really go wrong with either of them.
And I said last week, I don't think it's done. And it's
No.
The way it played out, it's not done.
Yeah, well, prior to the match, Austin Theory got kidnapped, which I don't know if we saw it there or not. But obviously, when we tune into NXT on Wednesday night, then we see what happened to him. Dexter Lumis came up with like a rag and put it over his face and knocked him out and dragged him. The rag over the face, I believe you'd have to do that. You would need a lot of it. Because think of this. How many bottles of vodka did it take to get Andre the Giant drunk? How much of that stuff are you going to need to knock out Austin Theory? What I cannot believe...
About a fucking dropper full.
Is that Dexter Lumis would be able to, like, carry Austin Theory away. Because there are stories of Andre the Giant passing out on a hotel floor in Tokyo, and they just left him there. They can't move him. So I don't know how you drag Austin Theory.
Right.
Beth Phoenix, I will never let you live that down. I love her. I say this every week. I go back and I watch her matches. I love her commentary. But the day she said someone the size of Austin Theory, I was like, no. It's like you and me, Mark. When you say something, 30 years later, I still bring it up about how stupid you were that one day. That means I love and respect Beth Phoenix. If I still make fun of her, that means I care about her.
How are you going to drag him away? Hey, Vinny, go get that fucking little midget. Drag that fucking little midget to the bedroom.
Hey, Vinny and Sylvan.
Grabs him by the fucking ear and drags him by the ear.
Next matchup, the Dusty Cup Finals for the men. MSK against the Grizzled Young Veterans. I was wrong. And I think they're shoving MSK down our face way too fast. You don't.
I'll be honest, I didn't watch a lot of the stuff of theirs up until this match. Those fucking guys are good.
They're good.
And I think, okay, you could have had the Grizzled Young Veterans, and, you know, I took them. But when I thought about it, when they lost... the last guy got kicked out. Mm-hmm. Vince kicked him out. That to me kind of sealed it for them not winning this. Is I don't want to say retribution or punishment or whatever, but I think they're going to be put on the back burner. Those MSK are fucking good. I think that they could be a surprise. Tag team of the year coming up.
Wow. That's a bold prediction. So Grizzled Young Veterans made it 2 years in a row. I thought they were going to win because this was their second trip. I was wrong also back in 2009 and 2010 during the first 2 years of Rex Ryan, getting to AFC championship games back-to-back and losing both times. So I know how the Grizzled Young Veterans feel. As for the match, it was excellent. Absolutely nothing wrong with it. And this is where I'll just disagree with you guys. Just a touch in the beginning when you said you didn't need the superstar names to make this a great card. You did it. You really didn't. It was good, excellent, solid wrestling. The finals of the tournament, though, I needed a money team in there. Even if you're going to do the thing with Undisputed Era later on, where Adam Cole turns on O'Reilly, that's fine. I needed a team like that in here, and they could lose. You know what I'm saying? The Undisputed Era can lose in the finals, which wouldn't take anything away from what happens later on. I just needed a big money team in the finals of this tournament. I think in the women's tournament, you get a Dakota Kai and Gonzalez I needed something like that for the men too. But as a match, it was excellent. I can't argue with it.
This is John saying that, and he's
sense.
right. It's kind of like with any sport, you get some fucking two teams that come out of nowhere and make it to the Super Bowl or the World Series. You're not as invested in it. But I learned my lesson with that line of thinking was New Japan Wrestling. I don't know the guys,
But you're still invested.
but I watch it and holy fuck, some of the best shit that I've seen in the last 30 years. And they do it on a month by month, two times, 3 times a month. Their matches are fucking incredible. Do I know who this and that guy? I probably know 5, 7 guys that are over there, but it's just watching it. That's what this card was. This made me appreciate wrestling of yesteryear.
Great tag team wrestling in both of them, in men and women. So that's why we're not poo-pooing in on that. Next matchup was the Women's Heavyweight Championship match. Io, Mercedes Martinez, and Toni Storm. Spoil it real quick. Io steals a victory, I think, from Toni in my book. I also lost. Not also meaning you guys did too, but apparently my app needed to update during this match. So I lost 10 minutes of this match. I really don't know, probably the meat and potatoes of what happened.
It was only like a 10-minute match.
Yeah. There you go. I saw him come out and I saw Io steal a win. And I'm like, I don't know what I missed, more or less.
Otis came down and
He
helped.
did not come down. I saw highlights. Otis didn't. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it was the PlayStation that did a quick update or if it was the WWE app on the PlayStation that did an update. But all of a sudden, padink, and I'm like,
That's weird because I watched it on the network through the PlayStation too, and that didn't happen to me. I wonder why yours would need.
So that had been my play. Who knows?
Yeah.
I was going to say
Weakest match of the night. Weakest match of the night. I'm sorry. Way too much talent in there for this to not be as good as it could have been. Io Shirai is still the best as far as I'm concerned. Mercedes Martinez has potential. And this brings me to what kind of breaks my heart a little bit. I was really high on Toni Storm as a good guy, and I thought it was great when she turned heel. I'm just going to go ahead and say this. She looks like she's put on some weight, and not in a good way. It doesn't suit her. I think it slowed her down. And that's not a reflection on anything other than her in-ring work. Nia Jax can fly around the ring like someone half her size. I don't think Toni Storm has looked great in the ring lately. This was okay, but it was a bit of a disappointment for me.
Yeah, like I said at the beginning, this was the weakest match of the night. It still wasn't bad, but like I said last week, it was too predictable how it was going to go. And that's just the thing. I couldn't get past that point.
I have said that to John, off air a few times. I was high on Toni in both Mae Young Classics. I love Toni, and I said there's something just off on her since she's come over from the UK brand to now that I just couldn't get behind. And I just don't know if it is that she's a slower, methodical wrestler now or something like that. I think Io and Mercedes match would have been that next click up better. Again, 3-ways aren't always the way to go. And I think Toni was, and she's a great wrestler. I'm just saying that I think she was the weak point of this match, and that's why I think we're all poo-pooing it.
And again, it wasn't a bad match.
We're not saying it's a 1 star or anything, or 1 beer.
It was just,
There has to be a weak match. We've talked about this after we go to events and we go to the Crockett Cup and we go to this. There's got to be one match that isn't up with all the other matches. And unfortunately, this could have been a main event on any other card if it was weaker matches, if you have Otis against Chad Gable or, whatever. But this just wasn't up to par with the other matches on tonight. Main event is Finn Balor against Pete Dunne. Unbelievable match. Unbelievable match. The joint manipulation, actual wrestling moves the whole way up and down the card. What happens at the end, though, is where we're heading to, and Chad's got this shitty grin on his face, so we'll make him go last. John, go ahead.
No, let him go first. Go ahead, Chad.
All right, Chad.
I fucking told you. I told this.
I could tell he wanted to get that off his chest.
This was saw it coming, but this is what they needed to do. I love the Undisputed Era, but they've done everything in NXT that they can. Now have them fucking implode, and holy shit, are we going to have Cole take on Balor and win the title, and then Colin O'Reilly? Wow, are we going to have Colin O'Reilly right off the fucking bat, or a three-way? This is what I like about them blowing them up now, as much as I love them. But this was fucking great.
Yeah, this was the right thing to do. You're absolutely right, Chad. Maybe I've asked this, but where's Bobby Fish been?
He
Injured.
Legitimately, the last match that he was in, he tore his bicep.
Or pec. Which one?
No, bicep. Because I remember the surgery. Like a 90% tear up and down his bicep in the match.
Yeah, the match was brilliant. So there's nothing I can add in terms of that. The story afterwards, Mark, you're absolutely right, is the big thing here. They played this right. This is a great intertwining of stories that carries over to Wednesday night. And you know what came to mind while I was watching this? Chad, back me up here. When the Horsemen ditched Sting in like 89 or 90, when Flair and the Andersons reunited and they made Sting the fourth Horseman, and then they ditched him. If you watch that, I think Flair's knee, like Sting gave him a really mean look. I think he actually kneed him in the nuts or like something, but like Sting keeled over and was pissed off. But anyway, they still had a match later that night against, I think, Gary Hart's guys. I don't know if Funk might have left by then, but it was like the Great Muta, the Mad Dog, or Mad Dog, Bulldog, what the hell was his name?
Sawyer.
Buzz Sawyer.
Yeah.
The Mad Dog Bulldog.
It was one of those dogs. No, but it was like an all-heel program, or you didn't really know.
Junkyard Dog.
You get it. You didn't know kind of which side guys were on, and that's how this feels.
Matilda.
A pit bull.
Winston.
Sorry.
It was Matilda, Winston, and Terry Funk. That's what it was against Flair and the Andersons. No, but that's what this felt like. This gave me the same feeling. You don't really know which side of the fence guys are on, and not to segue right into Wednesday night, but you have Strong trying to...
We're segueing right into Wednesday night. Okay, good job.
Thanks. You have Roderick Strong trying to like reunite
easier
the
that
guys
way.
and say like, hey, look, we need to talk this out or whatever. Or that was heat of the moment. He was angry, but if you just talk to him, I'm sure he didn't mean it. Good stuff. Enjoyable card. And naturally progressed into Wednesday's show.
I give NXT probably 4 beers for me. 4.5.
5.
Okay.
5 for me.
I'm gonna go right in between 4.5.
Yeah. So,
but on John's note about that match, he was talking about, yes, Sting did get clipped in the balls by the Flair knee, and that was the match that Sting went down. They were in a steel cage, and that was the match where Sting tore his knee when John Laurinaitis, dumb fuck, grabbed Sting and pulled him off of the cage, and legit pulled him off of the fucking cage, and that's how Sting ripped his knee up.
He was out for, close to a year, right?
It was about 6 months, because he was supposed to win the title that year against Flair at Wrestle War, which was going to be the next month, and Sting went out, and they turned Luger, good guy, to kind of fill in, and then Sting won it at the Great American Bash that year.
Yeah. That was brilliant. That was a heel versus heel match, too, though, at the time, Luger and Flair, until Sting came out and like, smacked him in the face and told him to get his shit together. Oh, I love it. Sorry.
Wednesday night NXT, just like John said, they're the Undisputed Era is talking, kind of rallying the troops back together, and yeah. What else do you have to say about that? Nothing. I mean, he just covered it.
Yeah.
First match we get is Shotzi and Ember against Candice and Indy Hartwell. And Candice just leaves Indy to go find Theory because he's there, finally. He found his way home.
Yeah. So I don't understand what was going on then. I was okay with the idea of him being kidnapped, and we saw how he was kidnapped. Why do you return him? That's what I don't get.
It's Austin Theory. I'd return him too.
Okay. That makes sense.
Yep. Now I got nothing on this one. I was going to say look under, a fucking thimble and you'll find a little bastard, but...
Pat McAfee's on his private jet, telling the fans, Adam Cole, this, that. And I don't know what he really said, because it's Pat McAfee.
He just said to Adam Cole, I told you he's a backstabbing son of a bitch and everything like that, and you idiots didn't believe me.
Yeah.
Now, here's the thing, though. I can't stand the guy. I didn't think he belonged anywhere in a wrestling ring. He was the weak link in that War Games match. But doesn't this make it more interesting? Like, he's still playing up the heel. You guys are idiots. You're so stupid. I'm on a jet. You're probably doing nothing with your lives. But now he's talking shit on a guy who theoretically just turned heel on the rest of his faction. So, yeah, I don't know where that all fits in, but it makes me want to watch again. It makes me want to tune in next week.
He fits in the wrestling business, Pat McAfee, as a heel manager, spokesman, something like that, but he can't be in the ring.
Right. Agreed.
Or you got to have people attack him versus walk by, offer him a fucking water,
doing the Dougie,
pizza,
or,
like
dabbing in the ring. John's favorite match of the night probably was Isaiah Swerve against Leon Ruff.
Quickly looking through, probably. Ruff is starting to show me something. He is. He's toned it down. His efficiency in the ring's a little leaner, a little tighter. I just need to see something from Swerve Scott already. The guy's getting beaten by everybody, and every week he's got an excuse and throws a temper tantrum. So show me something else with this already.
Yeah, probably the only people that haven't beaten Scott is probably fucking Dallas Cowboys or something.
Or the Jets.
The
Broncos were pretty close, too. So.
Fuck you.
Casey Catanzaro and Caden Carter against Aaliyah and Jesse.
Say that 3 times quickly.
I know. And Jesse Kamala. Yeah.
Kamala's daughter?
Kamea. It's Kamea.
Oh.
This did nothing but set up the match for next week with Xia Li. That's it.
Agreed. Xia Li comes out and paints 3 fingers or 3 lines.
3 fingers?
A finger. Yeah, she had 3 fingers. Ran them across her hand. I don't know what that means, but I guess we'll find out. She's just going to purge her next week.
I hope she... I love Casey. I do. I love Casey. Is this still the person that we want to see Xia Li beat up? Because she's fought nobodies. She still needs to beat up somebody. And I'm not saying Casey Catanzaro's not the one, but it's if she's got a bigger name than, Amanda McCaney or something. I don't know.
Right.
Yeah.
Did you just make that up?
I did.
That's a good name. That's
Thanks.
a good name.
I don't know. That McCaney's probably not even a real name. I don't know. Shayna Baszler and Nia have a face-to-face with Dakota and Raquel. This was nice.
I thought it was good. Yeah.
The ratings said it sucked, but...
Yeah, I don't get that. I thought it was fun. I like the sort of the throwback to what happened between Dakota Kai and Shayna Baszler, where she broke her arm, or that was hard to watch, like bullying her and, threatening her, and she's begging her not to, and she does it anyway. That's just cold-hearted and vicious. I would have wanted to have seen just a little more from Kai in this promo. She does say, I'm not that person anymore, but tell me a little bit more why. Show me why. Give me an example of somebody's ass you kicked or something, but I thought it was good. She introduced Gonzalez to the two of them, who didn't back down. And I think it'll be a good tag team match. I hope they win the belts. I'm big on Shayna and Nia, but I love Dakota and Raquel. I hope they win the championship.
I actually do too. We'll get to our elimination predictions in the third segment, and we'll talk about what happened on SmackDown here in a minute. But yeah, next matchup: Kushida against Tyler Rust. Anything. It
was great. Just
really
you can't argue with anything Kushida does.
Kushida's good. Rust was just there,
okay, but he raises anybody. He never goes down to somebody else's level. He can work with anybody, but he never drops to their level. He demands that they come up to his level. He makes anybody better.
Next thing up, we have Zoe Stark against Valentina Frozes.
I don't know.
They said it a ton of different ways. Stark gets the win, but it was about Karrion Kross.
Yeah, there was a lot going on. There was also an LA Knight promo that cut in just before this, where they went to his house and just give this guy a mic. This guy is a throwback to a bygone era where you could stick a mic in somebody's hand, push him out of the curtain, and he could deliver a promo that makes you want to see him again or go to the matches. I couldn't tell you what the hell happened in the match. Why have this match? That's my only question. I understand the LA Knight thing. I understand Karrion Kross and Scarlett. That's a great promo. Why do that to this match? Why even feature them? I couldn't tell you a thing that happened.
Right. That's what I mean.
Yeah. The only thing I'll say is I needed, from Scarlett, I needed more tongues. I needed more satanic ishkabibble out of her. I buy it.
Ishkabibble. Nice.
I totally buy it from her. I think, like, oh my God, I don't know what she said, but, there's going to be fire and blood somewhere, I think.
Then we get...
And if any of the Can Crushers Nation out there by next week can get us a definition of ishkabibble,
I'll send you a sticker.
We'll send you a sticker.
Yes. Ishkabibble. Send that to cancrusher69@gmail.com. There, we got two things knocked off our list that we don't have to do at the end of the show. Then we get the main event, and all hell breaks loose. If you guys haven't seen it on social media yet, get the fuck out from under your rock. Kyle O'Reilly is stretchered out of the arena.
Yeah, and they started, obviously the move by Adam Cole, which was fucking wicked. And then they played into the line of Kyle O'Reilly having a seizure, which, spoiler, he didn't. Right. But it kind of looked scary, kind of looked, fucking legit.
Brilliant. I mean, it was chaotic, but it was controlled. So you've got Birch, Lorcan, and Dunn, who kind of have it all together because they're a team. And then you have, Balor, who's not really trusting of the Undisputed Era. And then you have O'Reilly and Strong not trusting each other. You have O'Reilly refusing to tag Strong. When he puts his hand out, he'll only tag Balor. Strong will only tag Balor. They just couldn't get it together. There's a point where Balor's in the ring. He thinks it's one of his opponents, so he does the Pele kick, and I think he kicks Strong in the head. It was just a mess. The baby faces did not have it together. Brilliant story told. And it's Balor who gets pinned essentially cleanly. I mean, while there was a lot of chaos and everything, there wasn't a foreign object or a double team move or anything. The champ just gets pinned. And I think it was by Dunn, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you have to correct John. Foreign object is not politically correct.
Oh,
it was an international object.
So NXT brought it this week. From their pay-per-view and their show, they really brought it. Guys, let's let this is not gonna what I wanted to say, but let's bygone be bygones. The next 3 shows we're gonna talk about didn't bring it. And AEW won in the ratings. They shouldn't have. Raw was okay, and Smackdown was a take a shower show, not even a go home show for the Elimination Chamber. My God, I'm drinking coffee and I'm stuttering. So let's do AEW. We can probably wrap all these up rather quickly. I don't care about Hangman and Hardy. Hangman has so much more going for him coming out of that Omega storyline, heading into maybe another Omega storyline, and I know that's probably where they're going, keep us off kilter a little bit. It doesn't need to be with Hardy. In this whole my money against your money match, can't wait.
I want to see Hangman Page give Matt Hardy 30 buckshot lariats in a fucking row. That's what I want to see. You want 30%, you take 30 lariats. The only thing that was good in this match was that double buckshot lariat. Page is fucking awesome.
I used to be really high on the tag team scene in AEW, and it's taken a step back for me. I think I'm not a fan of this T-Cret or whatever the hell they're called. They don't have a sense of teams in general in that
organization.
Organization, thank you. They're just not a level of connection with me for a lot of them. I was cool with Page and Omega. I know none of us are big Omega fans, but I could, for some reason, get behind that team. It's not a team I can get behind right now. I didn't enjoy this match. And yet, to your point, Mark, if you get online, this show blew up. People loved it. And I'm like, it's all right.
Quick question for both of you guys. Does Paige end up going with the Dark Order in a couple months?
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Good. At least we have banter for the next couple months. The Inner Circle promo. I never thought I'd say this because I love every one of them, all the way down to Santana and Ortiz, and nothing against them. I can't wait for this breakup so they can all go their own way.
Agreed. And I felt that way about the Dark Order, too. I've kind of had... This is so terrible. I've kind of had enough of them. What was his name? God rest his soul, John Hubert. For everything we've heard, a wonderful gentleman. I don't know that this kid needs to be there anymore. I don't know what it does for the product. We get it 2 times, 3 times. Now it's just kind of... It's getting old. Excuse me. It's turning into Dusty Baker's baby in the dugout. I'm sorry. It is.
Yeah, we hate to, you don't want to say it's a bad thing or anything because it's not. I mean, the kid lost his dad, but it's okay. At the birthday party, it was kind of like, okay, you gotta...
It was his birthday.
Yeah, it's like, okay, be done with this.
And put some damn shoes on. We get an update about what the women's tournament's doing in Japan. Okay, then we get Serena Deeb against Riho. I don't think it was the right way to have Riho win right off the bat against Deeb, coming back, moving along in the division, in the tournament. Have a double disqualification or something. I mean, this way, Deeb looks weak. She's been off for 11 months. Deeb's a champion in your division, and now she looks weak because it was a clean victory.
Agreed. It does nothing for the NWA Women's World Championship. Why does she even want to be in this tournament? She's a world champion already. I think you can argue that she can take on the AEW Women's Champion whenever in a unification match. Why do you need to prove yourself in this tournament? Which she didn't do. She's gone, what is it, still round 1, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This was extremely bad booking. They should have had somebody else in there, Ty Conte or something. I wouldn't have liked to have seen anybody lose to Rio. I just don't. I don't take it seriously. But this was a bad idea. All they're doing, the only thing I can see is having Rio win this and Deeb still have the title, setting up for down the road, throwing Rio into the title mix some way.
Luther against Orange Cassidy was a waste of time.
Yep.
There is some. There is one thing I want to bring up. We need.
Okay.
With this booking with Rio and that, we got to discuss the Sammy Guevara Impact shit.
Bring it up now because
that is kind of hit the news that there's problems that Tony Khan's pissed at Sammy because Impact wanted him to do some jobber thing at Impact taping. Sammy called back to Jericho and was like, "What the fuck? Are we running into problems with this shit already?"
I think it's all a work. I think it's all a work because Jericho's getting Sammy out of the inner circle. I think it's all.
But is Sammy where I don't think it's. I think there's, some, whatever you want to call it, some problems there. If you're going to do something like that, don't do it with him because he's just, I don't want to say just coming back, but he's just getting over the shit that he said about Sasha and everything. This is not the right.
It's not the right person.
It's not the right person to do this kind of thing with. Do it with somebody else. It didn't even need to involve Jericho. If you're going to have some, inner feud because, your guys aren't fucking cooperating with us, but we're cooperating with you, do it with somebody else. This is the wrong fucking guy to use to do this with.
I agree. John didn't see any of that, did you?
No, I did not. But just in what I'm hearing from you guys, I'm going to agree with you, Mark, that it's probably a work. And I don't know. Wrestling is at its best has always built heat on the guys that maybe already have it someplace else. It's a bit of a risk, but I don't know.
Team Taz was out and they beat the hell out of Sting. I really want to go over AEW fast because it sucked to me.
Sting's in great shape and can still take a beating, by the way.
Yeah.
He really can.
The Eddie promo. I like the Eddie promo. I did.
Yep, absolutely. Never does a bad one.
You can have great promos. They need to quit burying them in the ring.
I agree.
Yeah. Yep.
I love the Kenny Omega at preschool thing. I laughed and chuckled like an idiot, and Chad is pissed now. I love this. I did. It's wrestling. I don't like Omega, but this was perfect for him. I loved it.
Oh,
I did too.
Did he have his blow-up dolls or fucking 8-year-old kids there?
Oh, my God, you're hating.
I wonder how much of a shoot that was, if that kid really did ask a question. It seemed legit. It seemed like he was genuinely taking questions from the kids and just answering them there on the spot. Like none of that was written for anybody. I enjoyed it. I thought it was funny.
Well, his fucking mental level is right there with him.
Santana and Ortiz against the Bucks. Bucks get the win. The Inner Circle's kicked out. They come back. They beat on the Bucks for a while. The club doesn't come out until later. This is just setting up the Good Brothers against the Bucks. That's all.
Yeah, which is about time. I thought this was the best match of the night. The Bucks can be good when they decide they just want to put on a tag team match and not a ballerina act. Santana and Ortiz are very good. This was the best match of the night, as I said. The story afterwards left me wondering, like, hey, why aren't those guys running out and helping? What exactly is going on with this Bullet Club or whatever the kids are calling it these days? That was the best part of the show, and I guess if you're going to go out on a high like this.
Yeah. Brandy's having a girl.
Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah. Oh, there is more. Yeah, there is more. There's another tag team match at least, right?
Yeah. Well, there's two, actually. FTR beats the Seidel's, and then Jurassic Express come out and beat them up. Luchasaurus is growing his horns back, so Chad, you're probably excited about that. They're little stubs right now. Antlers reproduce, right?
Yeah, every year he's probably upped his calcium intake to kick it up.
Yeah. That's what you're on the show for today. Mox had a good promo. I like that before the main event. It was, again, it's just a lot of, I don't see how Archer fits in with Mox and Phoenix to take on the Butcher Blade and
the Bunny.
The Bunny was there in Eddie. Whatever. A crazy ass match. The Good Brothers attack, and then Omega comes out. And the next pay-per-view, we're going to have an exploding barbed wire death match. Yeah. We've seen those. John was going to love this match, by the way. Going to love it. You see these over in Japan a lot. So this is gonna be the shtick that you see over there.
I just hope somebody fucks up and puts about 3 ounces of C4 and Kenny Omega's crotch goes over it when it explodes.
Wow.
I love the Bunny, by the way, in the promos. She just always has this look on her face like she thinks everything is gross. She's like this high school brat. I think she's a lot of fun. 6-man match was good. Yeah, as we said, you can't argue with the promos of these guys. I just didn't get a whole lot out of it, bell to bell. And to your point, I don't see where Lance Archer fits in this. Just turn him good already, or I don't see what Jake Roberts has to do with any of this.
No.
They haven't given us... we talked about NXT and the mixing together of storylines, and we did a throwback to the Horsemen and Sting and Luger and the mixing of storylines. That's fine. At some point, though, it has to unravel, and we have to find out what's going on. Just consistently teaming up this in theory, bad guy, Lance Archer, with his evil, vicious son of a bitch manager, with super baby faces and making him a super baby face, it just doesn't make sense.
Everybody seems to have forgotten Jake Roberts dry humping Brandy, a couple of months ago. So, are they going to have a DNA test to make sure the baby's Cody's and it's not Jake?
And on that note, let's go to Raw.
Yeah, well, let's just do WWE in general. What do we need to talk about? Because I know 2 of you did not watch SmackDown. I can cover it in one word. Suck.
I want to pose one question about SmackDown to you guys.
Otis is bad, yes.
No. Otis is a fucking shit. He's the next big thing.
Next awesome.
Literally. Do we see tonight, and I know we're going to have the predictions part, do we see another fucking Kevin Owens?
No.
Roman Reigns? Or does somebody, Cesaro,
whoever
Reigns,
it is going to get beat. Well, then save it for the predictions.
That's what I'm just asking. Do we see?
For the predictions.
I don't want to see another Kevin Owens one. Okay. And I don't want to see an Uso fucking against Reigns again.
All right. Real quick. Yes, let me do SmackDown real quick, John, because you didn't watch it.
Paternity tests. Wait. Lacey's pregnant. That's what I wanted to mention about Raw.
Yeah, and we're gonna talk all about it.
And it's not Ric Flair's.
All right, so 33 minutes into SmackDown, we're all over the place. We finally get a bell. We only get like 4 matches on. I don't know how many are noteworthy. I love Bayley and the Ding Dong Hello Show. It was a train wreck. We're getting Sasha and Bianca against Nia and Shayna tonight now. Reggie was in the match with them. I don't know if I want to say the biggest thing that came out of this was the heel turn by Otis. Legit, it was, though. So SmackDown really sucked.
Now, were we talking big as in his weight? The biggest thing that come out of this?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Was the Ding Dong Show any better this time? Did they continue to just say, hey, this is entertainment. I'm doing a little song and dance?
No, because everybody came out. Only 2 people came through the door. Was Nia and Shayna, and they came through together, so they couldn't come through at the same time. And then Bianca came down. And then Reggie came down. I don't understand why Reggie... what do you want to say about Raw besides she's pregnant?
That had the potential to be a very good match. Flair and Asuka teaming up, are you kidding me, against Lacey Evans and Peyton Royce. Instead, the match is stopped because Lacey says she's pregnant and Flair woos around. That was ridiculous.
Call me daddy. Woo, 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 woo.
God. Ric Flair needs to just call it quits. I mean, why? Who's good? Who would book Ric Flair?
Big time wrestling.
That's by the way, that's a joke for what we'll hear later on in the show when we book our own wrestling shows. But anyway, the gauntlet match was excellent. It really was, and it was booked properly with who came in and when and who won. It was really well done.
Sheamus wins. Spoiler.
Yeah, Sheamus ends up winning against Drew McIntyre. Predictable, but the right way to end that match, and it sets them up for what was coming.
You know what the right way to end this segment is, John?
How?
By talking about collar and elbow.
It is, and it's funny you mention collar and elbow because she's going to be so mad at me for mentioning this. Mrs. Professor just got out of the shower, and I'm warning her that with the mirrors and everything, and you guys,
right.
You guys are gentlemen, but I'm telling her maybe go get dressed over there. The reason I bring that up is one of my collar and elbow shirts, while it's not stretched out, while it's not in bad shape or anything, it has now become a towel for her head, a post-shower towel.
What?
For her head.
No, it is stretched out, which is why it's a post-shower.
It is not. No, she just took it. She just took it from me.
Wow, and she makes an appearance on the show this week, too. Nice.
It was the first one I ever got, so it's a few years old.
Oh, yeah. No, mine is taking a beating, too. The very first collar and elbow, yeah.
Yeah, that's now a towel.
John,
It's soft.
they need to copyright that because, Al Snow in his advanced age, he's going to want to, hey, we need to have shower towels that are shaped as shirts or whatever.
Is what he needs.
Well, I've already said that, but if he copyrights this, then he's going to have, towel head shower thingies.
Whoa! Okay, we have a promo code. It's Can Crushers, all one word. Capital C and Can, capital C and Crushers, and it saves 10%. John, what else do you have to say?
No, that he's got hats, hoodies, T-shirts, sweatpants, and towels.
Towels. Here comes Al. When we come back, we're going to talk about the WWWF that we have booked, and we'll fill you in on what we're really talking about.
Wrestling. A love and a passion we all share. I've started a wrestling brand. The wrestling brand. A brand founded on the aspects of wrestling. Two entities working together to create a product that connect emotionally for people everywhere. Collar and Elbow is the brand. Passion and love for wrestling is the drive. I am Al Snow, and this is Collar and Elbow, the wrestling brand.
This is the Spazmanian Devil, Andrew Palace here, and you are listening to Can Crushers. Let's have fun.
No, it is stretched out because you have to pull it over your big head and all your fluffy hair.
Okay.
So now I use
I'm
it
trying
for
to
my
say
hair.
that I'm trying to say that it wasn't stretched out because we're trying to give the guy, a push and say that his products don't stretch and they don't. I worked at jiu-jitsu and got pulled on.
Right. No, they're fabulous. That's why I stole it.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Oh, hey. It is I, the English professor from the county of King, speaking the English of the Queen, and we are back here on Can Crushers. Chad, the Glorious Guru, and Mark the Mark is your host. Apparently, you hit record, so we are going to go over the WWWF.
Right. And Monday's show starts off with women are already. It's a hard open? Is that what we're calling it nowadays? With the short thing and Gonzalez and Kai in the ring.
Yes. We kick things off with a match. It is the sure thing. Deonna Purrazzo and Casey Catanzaro versus Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez. Actually, against just Raquel Gonzalez. Nobody knows where Dakota Kai is. She's missing. Gonzalez bumps around the two smaller ladies, side suplexes, shoulder blocks. We have not yet gotten word about where Kai is when suddenly on the screen appears Martinez. And she cut the promo trying to get Gonzalez's attention, and the camera pans back, and we see Dakota Kai is face down on the ground. Gonzalez goes to help her partner, but the short thing jumps her from behind. They double team her. They go to do their finishing maneuver, the boardwalk, where Purrazzo grabs her by, below the waist, but too big of a lady. Gonzalez ends up power bombing her. Catanzaro was already on the top rope preparing for her portion of the boardwalk. Gonzalez punches her, knocks her off the top rope, leaves to go take care of her partner. Sure thing wins by countout because Gonzalez left to go check on Dakota Kai.
Nice. I like sure thing. I like Kai and Gonzalez as well. Here comes Reigns and the Usos.
Yeah, I honestly thought, okay, they're going to go right to the ring, open with them and that, but management was able to keep them back and get the show started with action. But here we have the Reigns and Usos in the ring. Reigns is pissed. He has what's left of the championship belt, which got ripped up by Nick Aldis and Empire. He's pissed. He wants Dreamer and McGuinness out there. Sorry. He demands an answer. Well, music hits, and it's Bobby Lashley. Reigns is like, did you get lost? What? And Lashley's like, I beat 3 guys last week. I get a title shot. Reigns is like, you don't want any of this. And he said, you didn't beat 3 guys. You beat 2 guys. And you couldn't even beat some indie wrestler. So you're not getting a title shot. Lashley gets in his face. He says, looks at the Usos. He said, how about if I beat those 2 little bitches in a match, in a 2-on-1 match, that I get my title shot? Usos are like, ain't no way it's going to happen, Roman. Ain't no way it's going to happen. We got this. Reigns is like, you better have it. And the match is booked for later in the night.
We find out that the script got thrown out the window an hour before the show, and we had to make some switches in the TV tournament match as Adam Cole will be taking on Eli Drake or LA Knight or LA Shyamalan, whatever we're going to call him in our division here. So Keith Lee and Sami Zayn has been moved to SmackDown because neither one of them are in the building. So Cole and Drake get thrown into this match because we promised people TV championship matches this week, and they're getting them.
Yeah, this was kind of a switch, but hey, that's what we are. You got to roll. Next man up. Cowboy up. However the hell you want to put it. This match starts off and deteriorates real quick. Kyle O'Reilly comes down. He's up on the ring apron. Cole's distracted. Eli Drake hits him with a clothesline from behind. Cole's down on a knee. Drake hits him with a Kinshasa. Shout out to Shinsuke Nakamura, and Eli Drake beats Adam Cole in the TV title.
Drake moving on. We get another TV match, and it is Britt Baker taking on Bayley, two of my favorites. This is in the women's side of it.
Bayley's been pretty quiet lately, but she's been quietly winning matches. Here she is against Britt Baker, TV title tournament. Good, solid mat action as we have seen from Britt lately. Some fast-paced, hard-hitting action like we are used to seeing from Bayley. In the end, it is a belly to Bayley that takes all the wind out of Britt Baker, whatever she calls her, belly to belly, Bayley to belly. Right, it's a belly to belly suplex. A cute little name to it. Knocks all the wind out of Britt Baker. Would have been a 3 count, but her foot, Britt's foot, is just under the ropes. So the referee calls for the break. Was it just under the ropes, or did Reba put it there? Cameras pick up Reba putting Britt's foot under the ring and calling the referee's attention to it. So he calls for the break. Bayley's not happy, reaches through the ropes and decks Reba. When she turns around, Britt hits her new move, the Molar Eclipse, which is like Chris Jericho's move. It was like the backstabber, but he does to the jaw, the code breaker.
Yeah, okay.
It's a code breaker, but she calls it the Molar Eclipse.
And she gets the win.
She gets the win and is moving on in the tournament.
Nice. Charlotte comes out and has a promo. Well, she's in the ring as we go to commercial break, but after the commercial, Charlotte's there.
What would it be without? What would my show be without a Charlotte promo?
Right,
Yes.
I agree. Can't wait.
So she calls out Tessa Blanchard for her recent involvement in the horsewomen's business. She talks about how Tully latched on to Ric Flair's coattails and made a career out of it. She says her father was the captain of that ship, just like Charlotte is the captain of this ship. But this ship has sailed before Tessa Blanchard even boarded. She talks about the career she's had versus the career Tessa's had on the independent scene, talks about how her cup of coffee will be over later tonight later in the tournament when Lacey, fellow horsewoman, defeats her. And then she wonders why she herself, Charlotte, is still not in a title hunt. And that's when Lita comes out, says under new ownership, the WWWF is more about wrestling. She's a little tired of Charlotte coming out and taking up so much airtime with these promos. And if she wants competition, if she wants to get back into the title hunt, she can do that by taking on someone who also is looking to get into the title hunt and is angry she hasn't gotten a title match, and that is Havoc. And that match is booked for later tonight. Oh, and by the way, the Horsewomen want competition. We've got a tag team title match tonight. Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler defend against Sasha and Io right now. So the champions come out, the challengers come out. It is a knockdown, drag-out affair. You've got the smaller ladies working on the legs of Nia Jax. In the end, the tag team continuity is a little too much for the independent efforts of the challengers. And it's Nia Jax with a power slam and leg drop on the women's world champion, Sasha, and she gains the pin. So after having lost a title match to her, she now pins her in this tag team match.
Wow, a lot happened there. Moving along, we have Karrion Kross against Kyle O'Reilly in another TV tournament match.
Wondering if Adam Cole was going to have anything to do with this, and we find out right away as Kyle O'Reilly's coming down to the ring and Adam Cole jumps him from behind. True to life form gives him a brain buster on the ring steps, rolls him into the ring, and referees asking O'Reilly and asking him, are you good? Are you good? And O'Reilly's hurt, but he's like, I'm going. Cross just brutalizes him, hits a swinging neck breaker, and then another brain buster for a surprisingly quick victory.
And then we have this new person walking out to the ring. We know her, but the fans don't, so she kind of introduces herself, Chad.
Selena De La Renta comes down, and I don't want to say typical heel promo, but she looks like a bitch, and she's hot. But that aside, she's like, you uneducated pukes may not know me because you're on this wrestling. I come from MLW, and I'm here to put a little spice in this show since, how can I put this politically correct? Since certain, what's a word, nationalities are not represented well. And she's like, I'm changing that. She's like, let me bring out my stable of wrestlers that have signed a WWWF contract. You might have known them as Lax before. And out walks Santana, Ortiz, Homicide, and Hernandez as the Latin American exchange.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. We get Flair and Havoc now.
Yes. So obviously all the horsewomen are booked. I apologize. Tessa and Lacey is later tonight for the TV title tournament. But now we have Charlotte versus Havoc. Charlotte tries the same tactics on Havoc that the challengers earlier tried on Nia Jax. That is going after the legs. Doesn't have a whole lot of success. She's surprised by how ferocious and tenacious Havoc is. Shoulder blocks, power slams, clotheslines. Charlotte is just overmatched. The horsewomen come down, two of them, the tag team champions. Havoc easily takes care of Baszler. She gets into it with Nia Jax, is able to overcome Nia Jax as well. Gets back into the ring, and by this point, Charlotte now, as Havoc is coming back into the ring, Charlotte clips her. No 15-yard penalty in the WWF.
Good.
Because it's Charlotte.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Starts to work over the leg, slaps in the figure 4. Havoc won't quit. Figure 8, she won't quit. Eventually, from the outside, while the referee is checking on Havoc whether she wants to submit, Nia Jax has one hand. Shayna Baszler has Charlotte's other hand. They're pulling on her for more leverage. And Havoc just goes out, and the referee counts 3, a la Ric Flair and Dusty Rhodes. So Charlotte gets the win by pinfall with the figure 8, not by submission. Havoc would not quit.
Wow. Come back from break, and we have our final TV title match of the night here on Raw, and it's the Lacey Evans against Tessa Blanchard.
So the horsewomen are just running roughshod, and they're going for the hat trick tonight. Tag team champion successfully defended. Charlotte gets a couple of ticks up in the rankings, winning her match. And now it's all about Lacey Evans winning this and advancing in the TV title tournament. This is, I hate to say just a 5-star match, but it is a 5-star match. These women bring it. At one point towards the end, I'll just cut to the chase. Tessa hits a belly-to-belly suplex, picks her up, hits the slingshot suplex, and then makes a point to not pin her there. She struts, woos, slaps on the figure 4, into the figure 8, and the horsewomen are at ringside, but they can't interfere for fear of risking a disqualification and eliminating their teammate from the tournament. Lacey can no longer withstand it. She taps out.
Thank God.
Tessa advances and she's staring out of the ring at Charlotte Flair.
Thank God. Lacey, see you later. You're preggers. Or she's not pregnant in your division, right?
No, not in this division, no.
And then we have the main event, Bob versus the Usos.
Okay, So we've said that Lacey is not pregnant in John's division.
Right.
Okay. Wanted to make that clear.
Fine.
So Bobby Lashley comes down to the ring first. Usos come down and Reigns is with them. This isn't looking good. Bobby Lashley asks for the mic. He's like, yeah, this shit ain't going to happen. If you're going to have somebody down here, I'm going to have somebody down here. And Shelton Benjamin comes down as Bobby's second. Bobby just at first just dominates the Usos. He's just beating the hell out of them, thwarting every move they try to do, but they eventually are able to clip him, get him down, beat on him a little bit. They're getting ready to do the suplex splash. Shelton Benjamin distracts the referee. Uso ends up missing the suplex. Lashley catches the other one coming off of the ropes. They were going to do the splash coming off the ropes, and Lashley power bombs him in the middle of the ring. Benjamin gets over to the other Uso, holds his leg. Lashley gets 1, 2, 3.
Nice Raw, gentlemen.
So
nice Raw.
Lashley, he gets his match, but doesn't know when. Tommy Dreamer comes out and tells Roman Reigns, your match against Bobby Lashley for the world title will be the main event on Friday Night SmackDown.
Nice. And we go to SmackDown. And we start right off the bat with a men's TV championship tournament. Ricky Starks against Moose.
After what Moose did to Kevin Owens last week, kind of was worried about this match. Starks tried to stay away from him. There's just no easy way to put it. Moose caught him and buckle bombed him twice and speared him for a clean win.
Moose is a beast. Then we move on. Women's side, Shayna Baszler against one of my favorites in the tournament, Ray Lynn.
So the Horsewomen are short one member in this tournament now, as we saw on Raw. Lacey Evans tapped out to Tessa Blanchard. Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax successfully defended their team. Shayna keeps the winning streak going. She's in a bad mood. Makes short work of Ray Lynn.
Damn it. My favorites are just going to the wayside.
Tessa advanced.
And Britt advanced. But I'm just saying, yeah.
Can't have it all.
Unless you're Charlotte
Flair. Yeah. Nat's pissed. She's doing what?
Yeah, she is at the ranch in Calgary, sitting in the basement, and we get sort of a montage. She's sort of in training there, and she's training others that want to become wrestlers. She talks about the history of her family and what her grandfather started there. And so, we see her working with someone, and she's like, what you want to do is, and she's doing a hold on someone, you want to put your hand right here, and you hear the young woman screaming, ah, and then there's a montage to Stu saying, hey, put your hand right here, and then you hear the guy screaming. So she's kind of getting in touch with her lineage. It's a montage of Stu torturing guys and Nat torturing girls, and saying that, maybe she's been on the back burner for far too long and she needs to get back to who she is and get back to basics. And that is, twisting people into pretzels, torturing people. And that's exactly what she plans to do when she returns. What do you think of my Stu Hart?
That was a great Stu Hart. Empire is all about meeting up with Lashley.
Yeah, I was kind of wondering what was up with this one. Nick Aldis and Camille are the only ones that come out. And Nick Aldis is straight to business. Asked Bobby Lashley to come to the ring. Lashley comes out, and he's not dressed for his match yet. He's in his, suit, and he looks good, and he comes up to the ring, and Camille opens the ropes for him. what the hell's going on here? And Aldis is like, been watching you for a few years, seeing what you've done. He said, the last 2 weeks, you beat many guys. He said, I want to congratulate you on your title opportunity later tonight. And he said, I hope I get to wrestle you at WrestleMania so we actually have a good match. Lashley is dumbfounded. Aldis says, just one more thing. He said, we got your back tonight.
Wow.
And walks out of the ring.
Wow. We come back from commercial and we have an upcomers match, kind of in the WWWF. Kairi Sane against Crazy Mary making a return.
Yeah, Crazy Mary makes a return. I'll be honest with you guys. Kairi Sane has kind of been sprinkled into the Horsewomen story along with Io Shirai and Asuka. And I needed to give her a match against some up-and-coming talent. That's essentially what this is. Crazy Mary gets a little crazy, breaks some rules, bites, chokes on the ropes, rakes some eyes, but the wrestling prowess of Kairi Sane is just too much. She gets the win.
Commercial, come back, 6-woman match.
Okay, we'll stay with the women's division. This is a 6-woman match featuring Io Shirai, Rhea Ripley, and Bianca Belair on one team. Now, what's interesting about that? They are the 3 challengers for the women's championship at WrestleMania in what will be the Fatal 4-Way against Sasha. So they're teaming up against Marty Bell, Thunder Rosa, and the returning Melina. You guys may remember this team, this faction, from the NWA. Melina was sort of the leader of this group, and before things went off the air, she and Thunder Rosa were having a bit of a spat, but they've mended, and they are forming a 6-woman team. The baby faces in this, the challengers, cannot get it together. You have Bianca Belair wanting to be the star of the show. You have Io Shirai wanting to be the leader of this team, and you have Rhea Ripley just kind of going balls to the wall and wanting to smash everything in sight. Doesn't work out for them. The cohesiveness of Melina's team wins. And again, it is Rhea Ripley who ends up getting pinned by Melina.
And then we get a huge announcement. Chad, what's the huge announcement?
This, we've seen a vignette for a week or two of 2 teams watching highlights of the WWWF, the tag team division specifically, in the titles. Well, there's only one team sitting there, and they're like, one of us will be revealed tonight. And that's all they say. One will be revealed. And the vignette's over.
Wow. And then we get, from his home via satellite, John, who's on the satellite right now?
On the satellite right now is Ric Flair. He is a little upset. He's going to take some people to task. He says, maybe some of you have been wondering where he fits in since the crossover to the WWWF with his daughter, with Lacey. He says there have been marks on podcasts lately saying that he ought to hang it up already, that he's too old to be involved in the wrestling business. How dare these guys disrespect him and his legacy, and here's proof that he still has more to pass on to this next generation. He calls out Tessa Blanchard and tells her that he wants to remind her that back in the day, while Tully was wearing Mickey Mouse watches, Ric Flair was wearing Rolexes. That there's always been jealousy between the Blanchards and the Flairs, and that his daughter is just more of the same. That Tessa Blanchard has been jealous of Charlotte Flair for years, and then he kind of goes after her a little personally here. Or did maybe she didn't inherit that from Tully? Maybe she inherited that from Magnum. Because Magnum was always jealous of Ric Flair's success. And that the best thing, despite how people want to paint this as a tragedy, that could have happened to Magnum TA is that accident.
Oh.
From the humiliation of getting in the ring with Ric Flair. You two, all of you, your dad, your stepdad, whatever your family arrangement is, can go on and on about the life you live and how virtuous you all are and how you do the right thing, and you look down on how I live my life, but I have never been anything other than myself. I've never been anything I don't claim to be. Meanwhile, you're the one who doesn't know who your daddy is.
Damn. Flair cutting heat, getting personal.
I'd just say Ric Flair, we all know where he fits in with Lacey being pregnant now.
No, see, on Earth 2, Batman and Catwoman get married. On Earth 1, they're not married. I'm Earth 1. I was never a fan of Earth 2. On Earth 2, she could be pregnant in the WWE. But on my Earth, she's not pregnant. So let's just get that straight.
Keith Lee against Sami Zayn. Final match in this round for the men's TV championship tournament.
Sami Zayn, typical heel. This is what we expected. Stalling tactics, trying to frustrate Keith Lee. But Keith Lee's such an easygoing guy. It just really wasn't working. Keith gets a hold of him, slaps him around quite a bit. Sami rolls out of the ring. Lee comes over, reaches through the ropes to grab Sami by the hair. Referee's not looking. Sami pokes Lee in the eye. Sami gets back in. Surprisingly hits 3 haluva kicks in a row and beats Keith Lee to advance in the tournament.
Wow. Big one. Big upset, I think, in my book. Final third round match is for the women's side, and it's going to be Raquel Gonzalez against Sonya Deville.
Sonya cuts just a very quick promo before she heads out through the curtain saying, look, I'm just here to win matches. I'm sorry for what you're going through, but it's bad luck that you drew me in this round of the tournament. Great match. Raquel is surprised by Sonya's power. It's not just the strikes. She's actually hitting some power moves on the larger opponent. I love that kind of wrestling. That's just how I am. Raquel Gonzalez also hit some power moves. Again, power slams, side suplexes. And then who makes her way to the ring? Mercedes Martinez. Does Mercedes Martinez making her way to the ring? Raquel Gonzalez hits that sort of pump handle splattering powerbomb that she hits on Sonya Deville, but she's distracted. She doesn't go for the pin. That's a mistake because Sonya eventually recovers, jumps on her back, gets sort of a sleeper hold, rear naked choke type thing, and Raquel goes out. Sonya advances. She puts her hands up like, hey, this isn't my business. She steps out of the ring. She starts to leave. Raquel Gonzalez comes in, is hovering over her, Mercedes Martinez comes in, is hovering over Raquel Gonzalez, mounts her, starts pounding her across the head. Sonya Deville watches this, bum rushes the ring again, comes up behind Mercedes Martinez, grabs her in sort of a rear naked choke just to pull her off of Raquel Gonzalez. And then Mercedes Martinez jumps out of the ring and is on her way.
Main event, it's Roman Reigns against Bobby Lashley.
So Reigns comes down to the ring with his 2 henchmen. Lashley comes down, and right when Lashley's at ringside, Empire's music hits, and here comes Nick Aldis with Rude and Storm. They get down to the ringside. Unfortunately, more freaking music hits. Tommy Dreamer, he is like, this isn't going to happen. This shit isn't going to happen. You guys aren't going to interfere. Everybody except for Reigns and Lashley are banned from ringside.
Good.
Aldis he's kind of pissed, but he looks at Lashley, reaches through the ropes from the outside and gives Lashley a fist bump and a little nod. Match starts once everybody's gone. typical big man match for these guys. They've gone at it before. Lashley having a victory to eliminate Reigns from a tournament, I believe. They're hitting their moves. Lashley starts getting the upper hand. Reigns does a pull the referee in front of me trick. Referee gets hurt. Here comes the Usos. Usos start beating on Lashley. Referee's still out. He's outside of the ring. And then the lights go out. Come back on. And in the ring are the Ring of Honor World Tag Team Champions, Jay Lethal and Jonathan Gresham. The Usos just look at him. All of a sudden, Gresham and Lethal just start beating the hell out of the Usos, get them out of the ring, fight them back to ringside, or fight them back to the dressing room up the ramp. Lashley's in the ring, gets back in the ring. Reigns is in there. Lashley hits spear. Reigns kicks out. Reigns hits a Superman punch. Lashley kicks out. Referee's just coming up. He's on the ringside area. Reigns goes after a super punch. He goes for a spear. He misses Lashley in the corner. He hits a ring post. Kind of
Bill Goldberg-ish?
Yeah, kind of stammers back out. Turns around, and Lashley obliterates him with a spear. 1, 2, 3. We have a new world champion in Bobby Lashley. The announcers immediately, where does this put WrestleMania? Where does this put the Empire's match? Bobby Lashley with the greatest victory of his career.
2 belts, Bob. King of the Mountain and WWWF Heavyweight Champion. Wow.
That's the right move.
That's a huge one.
Yeah. What'd you think? Did you like how I called out Ric Flair for being on Raw, and then in his promo he talks about marks on podcasts, calling him out for being on Raw?
I love that. I love that you're eating cookies too right now.
Thanks.
Saturday show starts off with Cesaro. What's he got to say?
Cesaro's been coming back. He's had some, good matches, some victories, and he's like, I'm tired of being, the afterthought. And Cesaro challenges Bobby Lashley for a world title match. And he said, you got yours before WrestleMania? I want mine before WrestleMania.
Wow. That's unbelievable. We're on the satellite again, and Tessa's popping up this time.
Yeah, she's got some issues to address here. She tells Charlotte, you know what? You're right. You are the captain of that ship, and I missed that boat. But I never wanted to be on that ship. I have my own path to carve, and you made the mistake of your life when you dragged me into your drama. She proved that she can beat Lacey when it's just the two of them, one-on-one. If you guys will recall, they wrestled, I believe maybe even on the first Raw, when the Horsewomen were formed. Lacey won that match because of interference by Charlotte Flair. So she points that out, that when it's one-on-one, there's nobody that can beat her. And she says since then, it's been Charlotte who's been hanging on to her coattails, trying to make a name for herself at Tessa's expense. She says, admit it, I'm occupying space in that hollow head of yours. And then she turns to Ric Flair. She says, Rick, how dare you? My father bailed you out your entire career. He did nothing but save you from ass whippings from the likes of Dusty Rhodes, the Road Warriors, and even Magnum TA. And you're going to attack them and say that the best thing that could have happened to my stepfather was getting in an accident when you know the truth is he whipped your ass all across this country and was primed to take that world title from you. Well, I am going to finish the job that he started. I am going to take Charlotte Flair right out of this business.
Head to commercial, and starting off, it's Dakota Kai against Mercedes Martinez then.
Yeah, Mercedes Martinez attacked Dakota Kai, kept her out of a tag team match. Dakota Kai asks Raquel Gonzalez not to get involved. I use this word a lot, but the tenacity that Kai shows here, she's not going after her leg, she's not going after an arm. She's jumping on Mercedes Martinez and biting her ear. She's jumping on her and choking her. She's jumping on her and scratching her eyes. And each time Mercedes Martinez is trying to push her off and create some distance, but Kai just stays on her. Martinez eventually gets the upper hand and starts to dominate the match. Gonzalez gave her word she wouldn't interfere, but she can't keep that word. She can't watch her partner get overmatched. She charges the ring and attacks Martinez and causes the DQ.
We get the triple threat match. This is huge.
This match just kind of came out of nowhere, but had a feeling Cesaro wanted to make a splash and make a case, so what better against AJ Styles and Daniel Bryan. This match quickly turned into what you can do, I can do better, one-upsmanship. Scientific match, pretty much stayed in the ring. These guys showed exactly what they're made of. The ending of the match kind of reminded me of not Daniel Bryan, Chris Benoit, Triple H, Shawn Michaels, where Daniel Bryan got knocked out of the ring after going for his kick, and when AJ went for the, not Styles Clash, the forearm from the top rope, Cesaro hits him with an uppercut and knocks him out in the ring and gets the 3 count.
In this next match, it's Sasha against Britt for the WWWF Women's Championship, and it's TV time remaining. If it would happen to run over, we have the VCRs, recording, and we'll show you next week on Raw.
Well, it's interesting that it's TV time remaining because Britt wastes a lot of time here saying that she's in the TV title tournament, that she doesn't really feel she's earned this title shot just yet, and if she wins, then it's going to turn everything topsy-turvy. What does that do to the WrestleMania main event? What does that do to her position in the TV title tournament? Sasha takes the microphone and says, "Bitch, do you want to fight or don't you?" And Britt's like, it's not the time right now. I want to focus on the TV title tournament. I want to win that championship first, defend it successfully, and then I'd be happy to challenge you for your belt. But we promised the people a match. So my replacement tonight is Reba. So Reba gets in the ring. The routine. Trips over her own 2 feet. Britt gets her in the bank statement. She taps out. As she's releasing the hold, Britt has now slid under the ring. When Sasha goes to turn around, boom, she gets hit with the molar eclipse. And then Britt puts the lockjaw on her, and Sasha goes out.
Wow, what a great way. I love the twist there that happened, and we didn't have to show anything on Raw. So that's great. A quick way to end. Great shows, guys. Great shows. I'm going to announce it right now that all TV matches will be on Saturday's show. So there's 4 matches on Saturday's show. You know your 2, Chad. You know your 2, John. That's all that's going to take up a Saturday show. It's going to be jam-packed. So hopefully you guys can bring something to Raw and SmackDown, because I'm excited about next week's Saturday show.
Yeah, we don't crown a champion there. We determine who's going to the finals. Right.
Correct. All right. So that's the WWWF fantasy booking for the week. Another great show by you guys. 3 shows. When we come back, we have Love 'em while we have 'em. We'll make our chamber predictions for tonight, and then send you on your way.
Have you ever wondered what happened to Lance Von Erich? Find out in his new book, Lance by Chance, Wrestling as a Von Erich. You'll also read stories about Chris Adams, Ric Flair, June Hernandez, and Billy Jack Haynes, and of course, the Von Erich family themselves. Get your copy today at lancebychance.com.
And welcome back, Can Crusher Nation. It is I, the Glorious Guru, in studio with the Mark Martinez, and the English professor, John, from his castle surrounded by a moat.
Let me tell you, if he eats any more goddamn cookies... Oh, you're eating them right now!
Yeah, he's eating them when we're talking.
Right. Rattle. Come on, Don Morocco.
Pat texted me, he's like, which one of you assholes is eating cereal? It's pissing me off. And I'm like, I don't know. But next time I'm going to pay attention to the show and find out which one of us is eating, and I'm going to say something. And I was like, oh, shit.
It's always you. We only have drinks during the show.
Usually we say something, not so nice about Pat, but he's got a point this time, but still, fuck Pat.
Yeah, fuck Pat for bringing that up, and you finally realizing it.
Yeah.
That it's you.
The whole time. Yep.
If he's not eating chips, he's, getting served his 7-course meal or grinding fucking coffee or...
Everybody's got to have a shtick, and I just spit all over the place. Apparently, that's his. All right, so, John, let's do what you got.
All right, Love 'em while we have 'em is a segment where we appreciate a wrestler while he or she is still here with us, rather than celebrating them after they're gone. And I swear to you guys, it's not just because I'm looking at around the room and looking at my figures, but because he was on AEW, maybe not this week, but the week before. But let's talk about a guy who's been around a long, long time, Dory Funk Jr., a.k.a. Hoss.
Thing I can say comes right off the bat is without the Funks, you wouldn't have had the Texas territory, the NWA part of that, and they were one of, how can I put it? They were, him especially, they bought territories and they ran them for quite a few years, and then they would sell them, move on to another territory. And to me, that kept the wrestling going because they moved all around in the South, in Midwest, as far as the territories that they bought. So they were kind of the ones that, during hard times and stuff like that, financially, they kept wrestling, in the public eye.
The Funks. I brought up a quick list of some, and 3, 4 that'll pop up real quick. Our childhood. Humongous trainers in the business. And Tito Santana, Ted DiBiase, Junkyard Dog, Vern Gagne, all linked to the Funks getting some training of some point. Terry, has been part of that training as well. Just great wressling knowledge in that family. And we always speak of collar and elbow, but he was a collar and elbow wrestler. And then he, would do some dastardly moves and stuff like that. So, the Funks, they brought it. They really did. From in-ring to out-of-ring, they respected and loved this business. And, yeah, they're great. Good one, John.
Thank you. He's 80 years old. He just turned 80. I think the week he was on AEW was his 80th birthday. So that's great to see. It's great to see a wrestler from that era reach that age, because that's kind of rare, unfortunately, which is why we do this segment. He, in a way, reminds me of what Dusty Rhodes said about Tully Blanchard, speaking of a whole bunch of Texans. That is, they just hated Tully. He didn't have to do anything. They just hated him. That was Dory Funk Jr. For whatever reason, the guy was a heel. And he didn't really do anything. He didn't make fun of the fans, didn't cut a scathing promo. He was very quiet, actually. But I guess at some point the fans decided they hated him. And he went with that. An NWA champion when that, I hate to say really meant something, but really meant something. Yeah. The dynamic between him and Terry was gold. You had one who was cerebral and methodical, and that's Dory, and then you had one that was just batshit crazy, and that's Terry. They work together. Obviously, I'm more familiar with his short run in the WWF. They talk about Terry inventing hardcore before it had a name. Don't sleep on Dory in that regard, too. When that guy mixed it up with Junkyard Dog and Hulk Hogan, he was taking some hard bumps on the floor, on tables, and he wasn't a spring chicken then either. He was in his 50s at that point and still working a regular schedule. He's one of a kind. He's certainly a throwback, and I'm glad at 80 years old he's still here and enjoying the wrestling product. So here is to Haas, Dory Funk Jr.
Here's to Haas. I'm out of coffee, but I cheers him. All right, boys. Tonight, pre-show starts probably in 5 seconds right after this show. Who the hell knows what's going to go on the pre-show? A lot of funny business. But it's Elimination Chamber prediction time. Chad, I know where you're thinking right now. We're not spoiling that. That's going to be announced next week. The other big one that we have in the hopper. Oh. So that's going to be announced next week. So don't jump on that real quick. All right. Let's just start here on matches. Asuka versus Lacey Evans is booked. Who's going to take Lacey's spot? And will that person beat Asuka for the title? John, you can go first.
So who's going to take her spot? I'm just going to go with the obvious because it's her partner. I'm going to go with Peyton Royce. And I'll say no. Asuka retains.
John says Peyton and then picks Asuka.
Shayna Baszler.
You're taking Baszler, which is odd, but okay.
And I think Asuka still keeps the title.
Okay. Mark says Rhea Ripley, and Ripley wins.
Sassy.
Setting up Charlotte to get back into the picture. It's just the downfall of it.
Yeah.
It really is. Nia and Shayna against Sasha and Bianca for the tag titles. This is where I talked about earlier in the show. You have, Dakota and Gonzalez lingering around. I think they make their presence known in this match. I'm not taking Sasha and Bianca to win the titles. They might win the match, but they're not going to win the titles because then I truly think that Dakota and Gonzalez will be your next women tag team champions. They're not going to have Sasha and Bianca go into WrestleMania or even the whole shtick that they're doing now with Nia and Shayna fighting each other. That's two stickies together. That's not going to work. So they might win the match. They're not going to win the titles. And I think, like I said, Dakota and Gonzalez have something to do with it.
Agree with everything you said there. No way they win the championship. Bianca going to WrestleMania. She's got a title opportunity. No, I don't see them winning the championship here. In fact, I'm going to go. They don't even win the match. I'm going to go ahead and say Nia and Shayna successfully defend.
Okay.
I totally disagree. I say that Bianca and Sasha win the titles because they're setting up like you said, Dakota Kai and Gonzalez
to take
the titles, and that match would be a better, more believable match than Baszler and Jax against Dakota Kai. And
okay, wow, we're all different so far. I like when we're completely a little bit different.
I agree. Yeah.
Let's go with the SmackDown Chamber match. Who's going to win that to then later take on Roman in the night?
So let's see. It's Jey Uso, Kevin Owens, King Corbin, Sami Zayn, Cesaro, and Daniel Bryan. I am going with the dark horse here. He hasn't really made much of a splash lately, but I think Daniel Bryan wins this and is catapulted back to the top, where a guy of his talent and caliber belongs.
I say Cesaro.
That's a good pick, too. Those guys deserve pushes already. They're so damn good.
I have to agree. The storyline has been there for a little bit, and I have to agree with John. I think it's going to be Daniel. I really do.
I'd be okay with either one of those.
I would be okay with either one as well, but I think Daniel's just there. All right, the Raw Chamber. Does Drew lose it? I'll put it that way.
I say no.
No.
We're all with Drew then. Across the board. Bob versus Keith Lee versus Riddle. Are we getting a new U.S. champion?
Nope. And I don't know what they're doing with Riddle. They're making him to be such an idiot. I know they're going for like the airhead surfer dude thing, but...
Now you're finally on board with me. Thank you.
But it's what they're doing to him. The guy is way too talented to be treated like such an idiot. Anyway, Bobby Lashley is awesome. I think he successfully defends.
I think Bobby Lashley wins, but there's going to be a change. Is Keith Lee in this match? Because remember, he's been out.
Right.
So I'm going to call a slight, I don't want to say audible, somebody else is going to be put in Lee's place. I'll throw a name out there. Returning Braun Strowman.
Wow. Okay. Side question. Do we get any funny business in the Raw Chamber where Ali kind of tries taking out Kofi for being in the match since Kofi took his spot a couple years ago? That whole business is going on. I think in the whole Raw Chamber, I think a lot of shit goes down. And you just have people fucking popping up all over. From Bray attacking Randy, to Ali taking out Kofi, to Sylvan coming out, taking out somebody. I really think
it's going to be a clusterfuck of the Omega Young Bucks altitude, or however the fuck you want to put it.
Altitude is a good word.
I'd be all right with that. Tell us two different stories in these chamber matches too. If one is full of interference and intertwining stories, that is A-okay. That sort of thing can work.
Right. And then Roman against the person that you had winning the match. I'll start. Roman keeps the title against Daniel. But don't forget, Miz is lingering. Everyone, Miz is lingering. Because he took himself out.
I'll say Daniel Bryan wins.
Wow. The title.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
You have Cesaro.
As much as I would like to see Cesaro win, I think it's going to be a good match. They're going to play on him having already wrestled, gone through, but they're not going to have Reigns drop the title before WrestleMania.
Okay.
This is what's so great about wrestling, guys. In any other sport, you'd say who's going to win whatever, the Steelers-Browns game, the Yankees-Red Sox game. Your choices are the Yankees or the Red Sox.
Right.
That's it. In pro wrestling, you can pick someone who's not even in the match to win the match.
Right. And that's why I think the Miz would be more linked to the Raw chamber, but I don't know. Is it time to take it off of Drew? He just wanted it last WrestleMania. He actually just got it back 2 months ago. But when does Miz attempt to officially cash this in? Is it at Fastlane next month when it's on Peacock for the first time to get a little bit more to do on that whole Peacock?
A great point. Yeah, that's a great point. For as long as he has held on to this thing, they better make it worthwhile. I'm starting to not care about it anymore, to be honest with you.
Yeah, but he didn't hold it for 6 months. That fat bastard Otis did.
Right, I know. The whole story with, he went to People's Court. Oh, my God.
All right, quickly, Chad, do you have anything bringing up the caboose in the show?
I had nothing this week. This has been a slow week in news and things like that.
John?
I have a match scheduled for later today against my son. We haven't wrestled in a long time, so I'm going to whip his ass today. He always goes over, always. And my daughter's sick. She's like, "Why don't you ever let Daddy win?" And that pisses him off because he has to win. He has to win.
That's when you need to, out of the blue, slap him in an ankle lock and say, "Who's my bitch? Who's my bitch?"
I went one time, this was a couple of years ago, I went into business for myself, and it was unforgivable. He was so upset. We rematched in a week or so, and he won.
And then look, he's got Mrs. English Professor on his side then, too, that you're the bastard then. Yeah.
Tough love.
Any stipulations in your match, or is it just you're trying to rebound?
I don't know. Last time I took the, and I sent you a picture of this, I took the rope off of my robe and tied our wrists together. That is always fun when you're trying to touch corners of the living room and shit's getting knocked over because we're trying to keep each other from touching corners. That's a blast. You'd be surprised how tightly a rope from a robe can tie around your wrist. I had to use teeth to untie it out of you.
I think you just need to pull out a little sandwich bag of baby powder or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
Or if you really want to step your game up and fucking impress us, you need to throw a fireball at them.
That's a good idea.
The fireball is not a good idea.
No, we don't do anything. We are really safe. Honest to God, we are so safe. I know you shouldn't try this at home. We don't do anything crazy. We really don't. We're super, super safe and gentle with each other.
Okay, the baby powder then.
We'll go that route. We'll go that. Yeah.
Finally, guys, what did you think of two things? These guys don't know this. What did you guys think of the Nikita Koloff interview that we had this week? John, you didn't give me your thoughts, but what did, real quick?
I honestly have not listened to it yet. It is on my agenda for today.
We loved it.
Yeah, listening back over it again was it was funny. He was a good guy. He threw a lot out there. He got a lot of good laughs out of stuff we said and everything like that.
About me being a Catholic.
Yeah, that and my mom calling him names that would even make me blush. And yeah, that was so much fun.
And number two, guys, this week I want you guys to chime in on, we've been doing this WWWF fantasy booking for about a month now. Is this something that Can Crusher Nation wants us to do every week, or kind of take some of this and make it, conglomerate it, and that's the real word I'm going to use, into one segment every 2 weeks, and then continue to do, because I did get an email, are you guys ever going to go back and do some pay-per-views again as well? So I know some of the people out there in Can Crusher Nation likes to hear our stupid shtick when we're making fun of maybe a hardcore pay-per-view that we promised John's got to watch, or even if we go back into the sellers of the WWF or NWA, what would you guys out there like? Split it up And me personally, I also want to get an Ask Can Crushers in again as well at some point. But let me go around the table real quick. John, what do you think?
Yeah, I've actually given this some thought. I love the fantasy booking. I can't even tell you how much fun I'm having doing this. I don't know that it should be every other week or once a month or whatever. I think it's something we do every week. However, I have been thinking about an Ask Can Crushers or a pay-per-view. On those weeks, maybe we just take a week off. Maybe there's a Dog and Pony show on USA, and Raw is off the air that week. It's nothing to take a week off of our own booking to get in an old school pay-per-view or an Ask Can Crushers, because the Ask Can Crushers is important too.
So are we going to review the Dog and Pony show if it takes...
Of course we are.
Okay.
Of course we are.
It's funny that he said that because that shit's actually on USA.
No kidding.
Actual dog shows and pony shows, horse shows.
Oh, yeah. Back in the day, man, they used to take Raw off the air. I couldn't believe it. I just, not just because we're fans, but we're like, is there anyone on earth who would rather watch poodles jump through rings than like Yokozuna sit on somebody's face? I just couldn't believe it.
She's upstairs right now. My wife will watch dogs. Oh, I like that one. Oh, that's a nice one too. Can we adopt them all? So
Westminster Dog Show.
Yep,
is the annual one.
I was so pissed because you didn't have the. We got TV Guide, but who the hell read the TV Guide to know when Raw was going to be off the air?
Yeah.
You turned on, and all of a sudden you're like, yeah. And there's no, no, you got, woof, 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 woof.
See, what they should have done is they should have put some wild card dog in there that just fucking started a major brawl. That might have been worth watching.
A mutt.
So a mutt. Yeah, just fucking put some mutt that you picked up out in the woods or something like that. You know, half wolf, half coyote. Fucking put that dog in there. Let's have some fun.
Oh my God, that's the perfect way to end the show. Guys, Spotify, iHeartRadio, you guys know where you can find us. We're all over the place. Go to Anchor, listen to it there. You can hear some of our ads that we've done. CanCrusher69@gmail.com. Send us some of your thoughts on what we just talked about there.
Even the wolf coyote attacking the dog show. If you want us to book a fucking match there, let's do it.
If you guys have to book a fucking dog show one Monday night instead of Raw, that would make me laugh.
Come on, you got fucking Old Yeller, you got that St. Bernard, Cujo. Fuck it, we can do it.
And who's going to win because of best presentation and everything?
I don't know. I mean, who survives it? Maybe
top
it might
10
be
dogs,
the fucking
man. You have
winner.
to figure out the top 10 dogs and figure it out.
Scooby-Doo, Scrappy-Doo.
Oh, my God. As we're thinking of that, I want to give a... some of my boys in Erie are starting a podcast, and it's really cool. God damn it, I knew I'd F this up. I'll tell you next week. Never mind. It's my boys in Erie. It's like 40 goals by the time they're 40. They're going to put a podcast together. Mike Jenks, Cody, God damn it, I can't remember Cody's name right now. Hendrick, something like that. Yeah, I don't know. They're going to make fun of me because they actually listen to the podcast every week and they give me shit.
Is your dad okay?
We're going to go see him tonight. We're going to actually, as soon as I put this together, we're going to go see him.
Are you going to be able to get in and out of the...
I'll have my car.
Oh, okay.
I'll have my car. So, yeah, Kel's got to go to work. Ethan and I are going to go have a little dinner and cervezas with them. And then...
You going to let Ethan drink?
No, I'm going to. Ethan's probably going to drive me home.
Oh, okay.
All right, but it's time to go home, right? It's time to go home. Wrap this up, right?
Remember, Chad,
right?
just because you're trash.
Well, I don't get in on it this week.
Wow.
Right, go ahead, start. Go ahead.
Why don't you finish it this week? Let's go whole different thing. You finish it, John starts it.
Because where are you then? Sitting out.
Yeah,
you can't do.
Because I'm already booking this fucking dog pay-per-view.
Go ahead, John.
Remember, Mark, just because you're trash, it doesn't mean you can't do great things.
It's called a garbage can. not a garbage can nut.